watching the Crypto Market Update with your host, Chris Marshall, your home for the latest crypto news, reviews, and updates that can be found around the block. If this is your first time here, then we would like to thank you for watching. If you enjoy the show, please like, subscribe, and share with anyone that you believe needs this type of content in their life. Just a reminder, anything discussed on this show is for educational and entertainment purposes only and should not be considered financial advice. With that out of the way, let's get on with the show.
Good morning and welcome to today's crypto market forecast. We take a look at the events that are coming up throughout the week that may have an effect on your favorite crypto. I'm your host, Chris Marshall, and yeah, I'm pretty excited about this week. I think we might see some pretty good stuff within the crypto market this week. I'll talk more about that when we jump into our charts here in just a moment. Before we get into that, let's hear from our sponsors. First off is Customerify.io. Customerify is the easiest way to collect user feedback. Anything from collecting reviews or feedback on your restaurant to your martial arts school to dance studios, or even on your brand new tech startups. Go check Customerify out at www.customerify.io and see what they're all about. Next up is OTEC, Ocala's Blockchain, Crypto, and Technology Innovation Council. OTEC is a group of like-minded individuals who are all focused on tech and the future of Ocala, Florida, and the surrounding area. If you are into tech or crypto and you're in the Ocala area, check them out at www.facebook.com/Ocala Tech Council to learn more about what they are all about and find out when they are having their next meetup. All right, with that, let's jump on into some stuff. All right, we're over here on Coin Market Cap. Today we're sitting at 19,518 cryptos. Wow. Market cap has recovered slightly since last week. We are at $1.3 trillion. Just need a quick little drink there. 24-hour volume coming out of the weekend. We're sitting just below $70 billion. It's a little low. I think last weekend was higher. I think we're almost at 100 billion. I think last weekend, coming out of last weekend. Bitcoin's dominance today sitting at 44.4% with ETH at 19.1, and ETH's gas is all the way down to 36 away. So cheap transactions this morning. Let's take a look at some of the top coins. Mostly things are flat. There's a few exceptions. BNB, a couple things are down, a couple things are up. But so far, things are pretty flat. Overall for the week, we are seeing some upward movement in some coins. But mostly things are just kind of flat. I don't think there's a whole lot moving and shaking too much today. Let's see if there's anything in the top 100 moving a lot. Bitcoin Gold is up a good amount today, 40%. Look at that chart. Wow. Look at that. That's interesting. Terra USD is up 23%. Good for them. Loop Ring, it's up a good amount. Ethereum Classic was up this morning. Yeah, it's really about it. All right, let's move on to the Crypto Greed and Fear Index. If you're not familiar with the Crypto Greed and Fear Index, it is just an indicator that some people like to use to determine when a good time to buy or sell may be. Typically, when the market is extremely greedy, it would be over here. That would mean that it may be a good time to sell. And when the market is fearful, that may be a good time to buy. Today we're sitting at a 10, which is in extreme fear. Yesterday we were at a 14. Overall last week we're at a 14, and last month we were in a 24. So we've been in fear for quite a while. Very interesting. Let's move on to some charts. So I want to take a look at Ethereum first this morning. we can ignore a lot of this stuff here. I'm just drawing some random stuff here. Starting off on the daily chart. Let's take a look at the daily here. So you can see we sort of started to form this nice little like we have this nice little pennant forming here where we came down. We started to form sort of this pennant here. It may have been not quite a flag pattern. Definitely a downward sloping flag, but interesting enough, we broke above it yesterday, by the close of yesterday. And now we're fighting to maintain a green candle above this red line. If we zoom on into the 4-hour, you can see this play out even more. We broke above the 50-day moving average, and we are trying to break out of this downward channel that we may be in. So I say may because we have a bottom line, but we don't have a top line to really show that we are in a actual parallel channel. And as you can see, I even cut off the top of this portion here. So with a traditional parallel channel, let me move that back. You want to see multiple touches on both the top and the bottom. So are we going to sit here and stay above this temporary support line until we reach over into this yellow line territory? Maybe, quite possibly. It's hard to tell. Have we broken above, a short-term resistance? I mean, it's pretty short-term. I'd like to see something more on like the daily, a big move on the daily. This is good for a little bit. This is good at least for now. Doesn't mean we're out of the woods. I don't think so. I think we still got quite a ways to go. And you'll see that more when we move on over to Bitcoin's chart. So let's do that. First, let's recap something that I was showing on Friday. Something I found I think it was like on Wednesday or Thursday. I kind of realized something on this Bitcoin chart. Let me take another drink before we dive into this. All right. Now, depending on how you want to draw this out, this is the thing about technical analysis. You can draw this stuff out so many different ways. So this is just a small piece of the picture. You got to take in so much more, like what is the crypto greed and fear index? What is, sentiment in the market? What's the overall feel? How does it feel to be an investor, right now? So much stuff you got to kind of take into account. But with that said, if we are just looking at technical analysis back here, after this first major run up, we got to 60 whatever thousand, and then we started to fall. We formed a bearish flag pattern here, a downward sloping bearish flag, but a bearish flag. Really from about here to here, right? So this is your major points of this bearish flag. And then what should have happened is we should have, taken our flag pull. So if this was our flag pull here, copy and paste it, we should have ended up somewhere around this $12,000 level. Now, if we scoot on over to this next all-time high, and we look at the bearish flag pattern. Now, this one is a upward sloping bearish flag pattern, but still a bearish flag. And if we were to copy and paste the flag pull, and this is where some of the differences in drawing can occur, is where do you draw this flag pull actually at? But if you were to say it's from the all-time high to the bottom here, copy and paste that and put it to the top of this flag pattern, look where this ends up at. This ends up back at this $12,000 level. which is quite crazy. Now, in both times, what we've had is where we've come and we sat on this instead of falling to that $12,000 level, we came and sat on this about third, this 28.6. Came and sat on it, and we played around with it multiple times to see if we're going to fall through it. And instead, we recovered out of it eventually. And now what do we have here? In the last few weeks, is we have fallen to this 28.6. Yes, we did go lower, but quickly came back above it on lots of volume. And now we've sat here and played with this 28.6 level for a few days now. So it's made me start wondering, are we going to see something similar play out? Are we going to complete this bearish flag pattern, or are we going to instead sit here for a little bit before we have another recovery? And long answer and short answer, I don't know. My thing is not trying to determine where it is going to go. My thing is, where could it go? So in theory, we could stay here and move up. I think that is definitely a strong possibility. I think it is also a very strong possibility that we see at least $20,000. If we move on over to our other Bitcoin chart, I got some new lines drawn on it. But if we were to take what's happening here recently and draw it out as a bearish pattern, you could do it a couple different ways. It could be a bearish, flag. It could be a bearish pennant, any of those types of things. But if we were to take this, draw out our flag pole, come over here, put it to the bottom. That puts us at 18. If we were to say that this was a flag pattern, maybe it's up in here. That puts us around the 19 to 20. So we're still waiting to get a little bit more data. We need a few more days. By the end of the week, I think we could see what this pattern actually is going to play out as. But I think that's going to put us somewhere around the $20,000 level if that pattern were to play out. And then the other thing we have is a couple of these support lines. So taking the these highs before we had this massive run up. There's this great podcast. If you're not listening to the All In podcast, I'd recommend you go look them up. Go listen to the latest episode at the All In Summit, and listen about the overinflated valuations of like tech companies. The chart that they show when they talk about this looks almost identical to what happened with Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies as well. And so they're saying you need to take out, basically, you need to just completely get rid of all of this data. This data should never have happened, especially in the tech companies, what they're talking about. This data should never have happened. And so when we're looking at these valuations for things like tech stocks and things like cryptocurrencies, we need to just take that out of our consideration and the valuations of these coins. And so I was like, okay, where then would the tops have been potentially if we would have stayed on the same sort of line? So all these red lines here were just to try to figure out what were we doing before this kind of massive runoff, and where should we kind of be at now today if we didn't have this crazy run-up. And so that's what some of these lines were supposed to be. I think these could be very good. Both of these lines could be very strong support lines. The line moved, which puts us at around a $20,000 level, for a high, for some of these supports based off of these highs back here. So this one was just at 20,000. This one here was again at that $20,000 level. It's pretty flat, but it's not exactly flat. There's a little bit of a uptrend to this line. So I think there's a good chance that we see 20,000 as well. So either we sit here and play around with this $30,000 to $28,000 level for a while before we recover again, or we see $20,000. Those are kind of my next targets that I'm looking for. And if we're looking for a confirmation of whether or not we're going to move back up and recover from here, I think it's first holding above this line, which looks like we're already back down below it. Let's go on over to a 4-hour line. Lead some of these other lines. Just focus on what we got. It would have been, yeah, it would have been holding above some of these other lines here. Now what we got is basically nothing. Even if we did something here, you know, I'd want to see us take out these two candles since they're pretty much evenly matched. I'd want us to see us break above, you know, some of these resistance lines of where we have been at and start to form a new pattern. Another thing that I'd like to see is break above some of these spikes down. So this like $33,000 level. If we could break above that, that would be great. And ideally, it'd be nice to see us break above this 200-day moving average. That would be a very good sign. The other thing that I keep seeing is that volume is decreasing since last week. So if we just look at Monday of last week, which I believe was the 16th. Yep. So if we go back and find the 16th, here's the start, kind of where volume was. So as you can kind of see, volume went up throughout the week. We're starting lower than we did the previous week. So volume's starting to taper off. Prices not breaking back above some of these levels. I think there's a good chance that we see lower lows, you know, here in the coming days. So that's enough with the charts. Let's move on to some events coming up this week. So for the most part, the really the only things that I'm watching out for is later on in the week. And Friday we get some more inflation numbers. I think that's going to help ease some minds if we get some good readouts. If we don't, then there's definitely going to be some more blood in the water on Friday towards the end of the week. Crypto events, we have mainly, there's a couple things that could be okay, but for the most part on the 25th, Wednesday, we have Florida's Bitcoin and Blockchain Summit 2022. I think that could be pretty interesting. And I may try to get down there to it. I'm not exactly sure if I'm going to be able to attend or not. So yeah, Florida Bitcoin and Blockchain Summit, the only fintech event where they focus on Florida. So we have a bunch of speakers coming in, so it's pretty good speakers. A couple of them are YouTubers like Blockchain Boy and Joshua Jake. But yeah, there's a couple other ones. Other than that, there's some good founders, some good stuff. So, and then Commissioner Russell Weigel, he's really focused on kind of opening up the capital here in Florida, you know, for investments and startups and stuff like that. So that's pretty interesting to see. I'm interested to see what he kind of brings to the table here at the Florida Blockchain Summit. Nothing interesting coming out on CoinMarketCap events. There's nothing really. Then we have two stories that I'm going to keep an eye out for through this week. So Crypto Codex, the ECB president reveals digital euro guarantee after Bitcoin, Ethereum, crypto price crash. So the European Central Bank President Christine Lagarde An outspoken crypto critic has said cryptocurrencies are worth nothing, based on nothing, and should be more closely regulated to prevent people speculating on them with their life savings. Stay humble. So basically, what I want to know is, are they going to continue to push some more anti-crypto rhetoric and bills in the European Parliament and stuff like that? What are they going to be doing? So just wanted to keep an eye out. This story just came out I think it came out this weekend. No, it came out this morning. So I'd seen the tweet this morning, so I figured it came out a day or two ago. But yeah, so I want to kind of keep up and see what they say about this. And then PayPal may soon accept all forms of crypto. Apparently,